conference of one. It's going to be quick.
All right.
Good morning. We are certainly here at press conference for Monday, August 30th. Happy to be here with you. First and foremost, obviously, where we are with Ida. Ida is weakened into a tropical storm, but again, Northwest Florida here is continuing to experience tropical storm force conditions, both in rain and some wind and some coastal flooding. We will still be having some higher tides than normal at this particular time. There is potential for flash floods expected. Our flash flood watch is through Tuesday at noon, and parts of northern Escambia are under watch through 12:45 p.m. Threat for several tornadoes will increase as rain bands spread across the Northwest Florida with a tornado watch until 4 p.m. today. Be prepared to seek shelter in case of warnings are issued. Wind advisory remains in effect until 10 p.m. today. Coastal flooding advisory through 7 p.m. today. We still are expecting somewhere potentially anywhere from 4 to 8 inches expected across Northwest Florida. And again, high rip current risk through Wednesday night, high surf warning until 7 a.m. on Tuesday morning. These are all some of the things that are currently occurring at this time with Hurricane Ida. We are still, our staff and our crews are out monitoring. Essentially, sort of the emergency necessary personnel is here today at the city. Our non-emergency essential, non-essential personnel are still at home at this point, are allowed to telework. That'll be just today. We'll all be back here, business as normal. But operations are still open, those things that deal with the public. We are picking up garbage today, and we will be doing that. And your normal garbage pickup for this week will continue your normal days. You will be picked up. There certainly have been some strange occurrences that have happened, though, over the weekend. I don't know if it was things related to the some of them are related to the storm, some of them I don't know. Obviously, we had the car crash at the Community Maritime Park that took the life of the driver of the car. While it was not the car's owner, it was the driver. We're still learning more about that at this particular time. Again, there were 3 cars at the airport, and the rental car that caught on fire. We're still under investigation and looking at that. I really do appreciate both. PPD was quickly there to at least save 2 of the passengers from the car crash, and Pensacola Fire Department was there quickly to put out any fire yesterday that associated. We're still trying to figure out how that fire occurred and work with that. We did have one instance with the storm where we know we had a minor instance at Mallory Park. We had some clay that was going in there, and we knew it was going in there, but what we did not expect is with our contractor, they should have certainly silt fenced that, knowing the conditions that we were going to be experiencing. Obviously, some of the clay, it's a lot of it's still there, but some of it migrated with the rain, and we're working and efforting to make it as clean as possible there, what may have gotten into stormwater. So we are still working through that. And again, like I said, we should have had we're going to work with our contractors to make sure they know proper notice. Certainly our parks crew and our roads crew were all busy checking other things at that particular time, but we're working through that and did at least want to make people aware of some of the things that did happen. We continue to monitor all of our intersections, our roads. At this particular time, the only roads that I know that we've had problems are our usual issues where there's low elevation above tidal, and certainly high tide at this particular time is happening. 9th Avenue and South DeViller Street, we continue to experience problems, but again, we should be able to work through all of those at this particular time. Otherwise, everything is running smoothly. We do have, obviously, some of these heavy rain bands have the potential to create some street flooding, but at least what we're seeing is once the heavy rain clears, the system is able to manage and get the flood water down quickly. These are all things we continue to work on, and we will continue to monitor. If you see something that we need to be aware of, please let us know. We appreciate many of you have notified us on a few other things we're working through. Obviously, I saw today the fence on the Jefferson Street project has been knocked down by the wind. It's probably not worth trying to set it up at this particular time because it's just going to get knocked down from the wind for probably the next 24 hours. So, but we will get that back fixed up once we no longer experience these conditions. We will be going into this weekend. There will be a closure next Monday. We will not be doing a press conference here next Monday, Labor Day weekend, so we will not be having a press conference. The Pensacola City facilities will be closed Monday, September 6th in observance of Labor Day holiday. City of Pensacola Administrative Office, City Hall, City of Pensacola Community Resource Centers all will be closed next Monday for Labor Day. Also, your garbage will not be picked up on Monday next week. Everybody will shift a day down. So if you're on a Monday pickup, you will not be picked up next week until Tuesday. Tuesdays will go to Wednesday, Wednesday to Thursday, and Thursdays, like me, will be on Friday. So everybody will get their garbage picked up next week. It'll just be one day later. So we ask you to please prepare for that and realize that we will come get you, but we will not be getting you on September 6th, which is that Monday. The exceptions to the closure: Osceola Golf Course and Roger Scott Tennis Center will remain open on September 6th, so they will be open. So if you want to play golf or tennis, it does look like next weekend we're going to have some nice weather, so I'm glad to see that. We hope you get a chance to get out and enjoy the outside. Obviously, since this weekend and this week, it's been a little tough to get outside and enjoy anything. Again, sanitation customers will not be getting service on the 6th, and we will simply slide down days. Everybody will slide down a day. As a reminder, Pensacola sanitation customers can keep up with collection schedule changes through the Recycle Coach app, which can be downloaded for free from the Apple App Store or Google Play. That will tell you when your garbage and collection day is. And again, next week everybody's just simply moving back a day, so we hope certainly our media will let people know and remind people. It's one of the things we do get a lot of people always forget that whenever that happens with a holiday. So we just ask it's going to be moved back one day. We did have this past weekend a neighborhood cleanup. The latest mayor's neighborhood cleanup collected approximately 94 tons of bulk waste, 192 tires, and over 1,300 gallons of paint. The cleanup took place this past Saturday for Cordova Park, Barge Park, Dunwoody Park, and Carpenter Creek area. The next neighborhood cleanup is scheduled for Saturday, September 25th. Stay tuned for details. And if you want more information about the cleanup, you can visit cityofpensacola.com. The city, again, is to host the unveiling of Folding Plains Public Art Ceremony on September 1st this week, which will be on Wednesday. The City of Pensacola Parks and Recreation Department invites the community to attend a public art unveiling ceremony Wednesday, September 1st at 5:30 at Bartram Park. The Folding Plains, which has been donated to us by Holly Benson. We certainly appreciate it. This is her second public art donation in the Bartram Park area. The artist with Kevin Botts, it was designed by him. It tells the story of a piece of paper that dreams of flying. The sculpture is made from powder-coated cast bronze on a steel base that demonstrates a blank page gradually folding its way upward into becoming an airplane and taking flight. And certainly this, with what we do here, certainly a lot of flying, naval aviation and everything, it's certainly the inspiration that it creates. We think it's a great thing. We're excited about having it there and in Bartram Park, and we think it'll be a great addition there, and we certainly think public art like this that creates opportunity for inspiration is a great thing. So we really appreciate former Representative Holly Benson donating that, and I think it'll be a great addition to Bartram Park. So we're excited about that this week. COVID-19 numbers, we have seen some positivity rate going down. I think I saw something today. We were actually, the latest positivity, we were down around 20%. So we've come down from about 35% to 20%. Obviously, that's still high if we work through it, but we are beginning to at least, I think, starting to see some downward trends in some of these things, which is getting about the time that the hospital thought we might see some of this. We still need to be very watchful out there. And obviously the biggest thing you can do at this particular time is continue to get vaccinated. That continues to be the one thing that we have seen that is trending things away with vaccination. The totals that we have seen here are, we were midweek last week, we were at our highest ever at 398. This past Saturday we were at 359. Sunday was 368, and today we were at 356 this morning. So again, as we've seen some trending down, we're down about 10% from where our high was last week. And we hope this is going to be a signal of some things that are headed us in the right direction. Obviously, anything over 300, really anything over 200 is not sustainable for our healthcare to sustain. So we are a long way from getting in the clear, but at least we're headed in the right direction. I think that was sort of the good thing. We're supposed to have a phone call today at 2 o'clock with hospital administrators and hospital teams and discuss what's going on with them. And obviously we are all hoping that this decrease in positivity and decrease in hospitalizations is something we will continue to see in the future. But we got to be mindful. We got to continue to do what we can, and the biggest thing we can do is vaccinations. I spoke at length on Friday. We've started back recognizing employees again. It's been great to see people again. We try to do it downstairs in the chamber, so a big enough area. But one of the things I did do is continue to advise our employees that there's an opportunity. In fact, this week I think they're coming back for the second shot. We encourage people that want to get a first shot to go ahead and get a first shot. I think we had about 65 people that got the first shot. We want them to get the second shot. We want others to go ahead and go forward. I think this is good for us. It's almost about 10% of our population. Here at the city, we're about 800 people, so about close to almost 10% getting vaccinated. We would love to see another 10% come forward. I reminded them of the incentive that we have for employees, and that I thought that they should take advantage of this. I continue to believe, if you're seeing things recently, I think it's a matter of probably 3 to 6 months before we're going to see insurance companies begin to make this a significant impact, because it's the cost of healthcare is obviously really being borne out by the unvaccinated. You've seen this at some of the major companies, major employers, private employers. Their insurances are already beginning to make them go up. I think it's a matter of time before that will happen across the board. As I say, if you think, I don't think elected officials are that powerful, but insurance companies are dadgum powerful, and they can find a way to hit you in the wallet, and I think that's what we're going to see. We've certainly been advising our employees to do that, and we would advise you to think about other alternatives. But clearly, I think when you see the cost of health care, I would expect that insurance companies are going to be making that a point, and we'd probably see that over the next 3 to 6 months. Again, at no point have anybody said that to the City of Pensacola at this time, but reading the tea leaves and seeing what's out there, and especially when you can say 90% of it is unvaccinated, I think those are things that will translate into the market, and you'll see something happen at that particular time. Our advice has been to work with our employees to try to encourage them at this point now to go get vaccinations at this point. Those are things we continue to keep working through. The other thing, there are a couple other items here. Obviously this weekend it was fairly significant, I think, on at least social media, talking about the food truck enforcement. Last week we were contacted by Councilwoman Ann Hill related to this, and Steve Richards, our head of code enforcement, came here with John Pittman, his boss in sanitation, came to us and said, hey, actually the way the rule reads, they're not supposed to be on public property. And again, we hadn't been enforcing it. I was aware the council had done something before I became the mayor. I was not aware that we had not been enforcing it this time. At that point, I simply thought for sure if a council member is asking us to enforce a council initiative, we should be doing that. So we have begun this past weekend. We did not fine anybody or anything else. We did make people aware of what the rule was and that we would be doing that. And I think this weekend we will be out there finding people in public property. It is the law by ordinance. And again, if a council member is asking for us to enforce that, we're going to work through. And I was unaware when I was made aware of what the ruling was. I told Steve Richards and his staff, absolutely, that needs to happen. So again, at this point, that's where we are and what we're working with. And we will continue to work at this particular time through that. Lastly, Charter Review Commission. I know next week is going to be a council meeting. I won't be here, be out of town, but I do have 2 appointees to that commission. I'm excited on those 2 appointees. I think they'll do a good job of rounding out the commission. We'll have 11 people. They look much like the state at the Constitution. Every 20 years, every 10 years at the city, we'll be looking at the charter. There are revisions that they'll be looking at, and I'm not sure which revisions they'll undertake or what will happen with it. But I do know for my two appointees, I have asked them and expect them to at least put forward on the discussion list that we look at changing the. It's something I campaigned on, that I thought the executive for the city of Pensacola, it should not have 3 4-year terms. It should be limited to 2 4-year terms, just like the president, just like the governor. In fact, I think probably the way the job works, seeing that the last two have decided they simply didn't want to run, I'm not sure that you don't see people just doing it for 4 years, but that may be what ends up happening. But again, I think regardless one way or the other, I think we should look to get as many people and many different ideas going through here. And I think from a council standpoint, a legislative, you don't control the entire legislature. I think 3 4-year terms is right. I think probably if the state had term limits that were 12 years for legislators, it probably would work. But for the executive, I do think the 8 years is what it should term. And so again, I think that's one of the things we're going to ask for. And I don't know what else will happen, but it will be exciting to see what does come forward. And so I know that that commission will be approved hopefully on Thursday next week, and they should get to work looking at the charter and seeing what they can do to make it better. This is going to be a real short meeting in some ways for Q&A, because Andrew is the only person. He gets a gold star for showing up during the hurricane and still coming in. But I don't know if you have some questions. Yeah, did you want to do that on the org chart? That'd be fine. That'd be fine. Do you want to put that up? I guess I will say this is kind of what it will look like on October 1st. We did try to put some of the new people in there, so you get a chance to see what we're working through. But again, we will continue to round that out as we go forward. But I did want to look at that. We did want to put it up there and have it available for people to look at. At this particular time, as I said earlier, the only person here is Andrew, but I don't know if you're getting anything from the press. Casey, if you got any other questions from them. Andrew, it's all yours. I'm here for all your questions, first and last.
On the food trucks, so what I remember the case being was that Mayor Hayward sort of allowed them by neglect into operation, and we never really changed the ordinance, but they were just kind of everywhere. So where are they not allowed to be? What will the change be as you enforce it?
Well, again, we haven't made a change. We've made a change in enforcement. The code currently reads, and I was not aware, I think what you're indicating is council did make a change. It was never done. And when we came in, I didn't realize where it was, and I never instructed Steve to do something one way or the other. It says parking is prohibited in any street, right-of-way, or vacant parking lot for the principal purpose of displaying the vehicle for sale, washing, greasing, or repairing the vehicle, displaying, advertising, or selling merchandise from the vehicle. So again, or storage for more than 24 hours. So you're not allowed to sell food or something else from the vehicle on public property. And that was the way, when Steve came to us, I simply said, well, then we need to be enforcing the rule. If that's what the council's rule is, we need to be enforcing it. And so we started that process. There's no
parks, rights of way, parking lots,
correct.
Streets. There's nowhere that's public.
Correct.
The food trucks can park and
correct.
sell from.
Now again, we have Alfresco, as I was Alfresco, it's now the Garden Center, whatever the garden place, the garden. The food trucks are in there. It's private property. Private property can do things. Nomadic Eats, they now have a private place. They have a parking lot that's on private property. They have their food truck on a private property. So even the nomads have found places on private property. I mean, again, it's on private property. That's not us, but you will need an agreement with that private property owner to be able to do that. Public stuff, we would not allow it by the code that's already there. And again, this is more a case of us just being aware of what the code was. And once we were asked that by the council member, we felt it was our obligation to enforce it.
Flooding from the rain yesterday and today, I know we're always improving. There's always mitigation work that's being done, being completed. any place that surprised you, either how well or how poorly it performed in the?
Gareth, I haven't heard anywhere that came in from us. I mean, the two places we know are the two places where we have problems with inlets, which is South DeVillers and South 9th Avenue. Even my understanding, Keith, you went to the place at 17th and no problem at 17th. So that's a usual area that we see problems. Obviously, right now 17th isn't real open. We still were hoping that was going to happen. They ended up, FD&T DOT, because of the storm, did not do their work. Obviously, this appears like it will push 17th opening out at least a week or two from where we thought. So it may be October before 17th gets open. But again, so from that standpoint, I did not hear as much stuff. I'd heard Palafox and Garden had some problems, I think, a month or so ago. We had a tropical storm come by close enough. This time I did not hear any problems there. So we're continuing to look. I think we're Dave and his team are trying to do a great job of what they're doing, and we're constantly looking to get better. And I appreciate you saying that. And I think they have gotten better, and they are doing a better job.
The governor on Friday first round lost his case to keep the mask mandate out of schools. Given with that ruling went, do you have any thoughts about the possibility of returning to a mask mandate from the city's point of view, even though I know it's a little different legally, but it's kind of the similar principle?
It's a school issue. Obviously, we'll continue to keep looking at it. I mean, I know a lot of people have immediately said, well, that happened. I said, that was schools. It's not the same issue. But I said, we'll certainly look at it. Everything I continue to see is saying that the mask, while they can help you, and we certainly have encouraged it here, they're not the long-term strategy out. The long-term strategy out is vaccines. And no matter how much people don't like it or are concerned about it or worried about it, it really is our only way out. I mean, we will get over this Delta bump. We will see some things come down, but it's not going away. We will have the next iteration. We'll have another one if we don't get vaccinated. It clearly has shown that places that are not vaccinated, it's different. I had the opportunity this past weekend. I went up to Oxford to see my daughter for her 21st birthday, and we had a great time. But up there, in Mississippi, they had significant problems. And then in Alabama, we talked to several people. There are no the hospital facilities in Alabama are swamped. I mean, there is nothing. You probably saw all the stuff during Ida talking about Louisiana. They can't even move patients from these hospitals that are in extreme hurricane danger places because there's no place to move them in this particular time because everybody is full. It speaks to the issue, what we've said all along. This is about trying to keep healthcare capacity open. And we're incredibly stretched right now. We've seen a 10% decrease, which is going to be great. But I know when I'm on the phone call, all the hospital administrators say, "Hey, listen, we can't sustain this. We really can't sustain anything. We got to be more like about under 150 to be more sustainable." But from that standpoint, we're working through it. I think the issue is going to be vaccines. That's why I think what you're seeing happen right now to major employers and what's happening with them, I think it's a matter of time. It's not our insurance companies, I haven't come and said anything to us, but I think you're going to see insurance companies begin to demand that this happens or things are going to be happening. I know a case in point, talking about colleges, I know the college I went to, Birmingham Southern in Alabama, basically said, listen, everybody who comes back this year for testing and all the things that we're taking on expenses, we're going to expect every student to pay us $500 a semester. However, we will waive that if you can show us you've been vaccinated. I think you're going to see more and more of that. I think the cost of insurance and the cost of all this is really coming from the unvaccinated. I think you may find, and there's a variety of things. You may have the freedom, you think, to do a bunch of things, but you don't have the freedom to do necessarily create issues with your money. Insurance companies are radically, significantly better at figuring these things out, and they'll go to the court system and they don't care. They'll be able to say, court system will be able to say, listen, at 90%, you're right, we'll defend it, you're right to do this, and it's the expense, and it's clearly being borne by certain operations, and it's going to be are people that are unvaccinated, and it's going to eventually they're going to have to bear the cost of that. And I think you're going to see that happen over the next 3 to 6 months. I think the market is ruthlessly efficient, and it really doesn't care about a lot of other things that we've struggled with over the past 18 months. It's going to say if you cost the system more money, you got to pay it. So I think that's going to get there. I would really think before you start to get pushed into that situation, I hope you will seek the opportunity to go ahead and get the shot and help all of us make sure we don't have to do this again. It truly is amazing to me how dire the issue is at our hospitals, and certainly when I talk to people in Alabama, it's much worse than it is here, and how dire it is there. And your inability to get in for just normal stuff is unbelievable that you can't get there. And all of this is COVID related, and 90% of everybody that's in there is unvaccinated, and I don't understand why more people haven't just dawned on them to say, you know what, we need to get vaccinated. But I think it's become a variety of other issues. It hasn't become about health, it's become about politics and belief, and those things are tougher to deal with. And so I think it's just been a tougher situation. But I think ultimately in the end, it is going to come down to money. I mean, everything in America seems to come down to money. And I think at that point, as I've said before, insurance companies are ruthlessly efficient, and they can deal with a lot of things that sometimes don't have problems dealing with it other ways. And I think they're going to eventually force people. I mean, again, you will not have to get vaccinated, but you will have to pay a significant amount for your insurance. And if you financially want to do that, you have every right to do that. I think it's just crazy. I think it's crazy that we've gotten to this point that we even have to ask for these things. I think we should all be banding together and working as diligently as we can to protect a scarce resource we have in our community. But for whatever reason, we haven't been able to get everybody on board with that. And the vaccine is much more important for our long-term strategy than the mask is. Mask is a short-term temporary.
I'm good.
Gold Star, look forward to talking to you on Wednesday. I will be out of town next week. We will not have a press conference with the holiday. Hopefully everybody has a good holiday season, and and again, we hope to have better weather, but thank you very much, and we'll look forward to seeing you on August the 13th. September the 13th, so we will see you then. Thank you.